Tensions flared and favorites fell at the second NXL event in Texas, and the race at the top should be close all season long.
Way to go, guys. Hold on to that energy. He wants to beat them the most, and I'm right next to him, and so is he, and so are you.
Rising up to take the top spot in the series title race was the Russian Legion, who blasted through all 7 of their games, going undefeated to earn the win, taking down AC Dallas 6-1 in the finals. The Russians ran through everyone they played, including a miracle comeback with a 9-second point, avenging themselves against Impact. Legion will be a force for years to come if they can keep this starting lineup together. Also at stake will be the Carbon Paintball Golden Barrel Top Gun Trophy. In the first 2 events, the winners emerged out of a brutal race to see who would earn the award for the kill count leader. In Vegas, the top killer was Justin Rabikoff, who helped guide Edmonton Impact to yet another victory. And at the last event in Texas, it was Leo Smotrov, who emerged from the mud as the #1 player, the biggest threat on the snake side in the league, helping the Russians become the favorite to win the series title. The 2018 world title holders and series champs Houston Heat are now ranked 2nd overall. Heat had close matches in the prelims after a bit of a rocky Saturday with a loss to Dynasty and an overtime controversial win against Green Bay Boom. Heat again found themselves in the wild card round, but made it all the way to the semifinals, where they lost to AC Dallas. Heat plays best hungry, and their all-star lineup will be hungry for a win at the next event in Philadelphia. Edmonton Impact, now ranked 3rd, who started the year with a big win in Vegas, looked mortal in Texas, barely beating the ML Kings and losing to X Factor in the prelims. They played the quarterfinals without one of their best players, Alex Goldman, who was suspended for headbutting Rainey Stanzik. Impact squandered a 4-point lead with 4 minutes left in the quarterfinals and let the Russians knock them out of the tournament. If the past few years are any indication, they'll be back with a vengeance at the next event. Now ranked 4th place overall, AC Dallas looked efficient and capable against every team not named the Russian Legion, who had figured out their game plan when they met for the 2nd time in the finals. AC took down Dynasty and Heat on Sunday, but the Legion proved too much for them in the last match. But AC Dallas, who has now made the finals 3 times with their amazing starting 5, will remain undaunted in their quest for their first pro win in Philadelphia. It's the middle of the season. The preseason hype is gone and everyone has had time to work on the rosters that they have. From here until the end of the year, there are no excuses. It's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight from now until the finish. Who will be the best killers in Philly? What are the top 4?
That's hard work. Hey, Maddie, that's hard work, baby.
Maybe someone else finally. San Diego Dynasty looked like a team possessed during the first 2 days at the last NXL event in Texas. The only close game they had in the prelims was a 2-1 victory against a resurgent Seattle Thunder. That 1 point was the only point scored on them in the first 3 games that they played. But they ran into AC Dallas in the quarterfinals, lost a close 1-point match, and got knocked out of the tournament. The most legendary team ever to play the game, Dynasty's record and legacy is the high-water mark of excellence in professional paintball. Dynasty's roster has only gotten better since their 5th place overall finish in the NXL standings last year. While Brandon Shore did retire, they picked up one of the biggest bullies and best gunfighters in the league, Alex Rodriguez, who came back to the team from Aftermath. Still relatively fresh off a knee injury that cut his season short last year, Arturo Andrade looked capable on the snake side of the last event in Dallas. Matty Kling is also trying to play well enough to earn spins, and he has shown himself to be a lethal first attacker in the recent past. But the team is anchored by their longtime veteran core. Alex Frazier is still the aggressive missile he has always been, willing to attack at any time. Tyler Harmon is the team's spark plug, both on the field and in the pit. His athletic aggression is textbook, and he excels on both offense and defense. As long as he's on the field, Dynasty still has a chance. The same could be said for Ryan Greenspan and Marcelo Margot, 2 of the most polished professionals in the league. Both are all-stars many times over, who can be counted on in clutch situations deep into the tournament. One of Dynasty's biggest assets is their off-the-break kills, which Yosh Rao has been delivering in the dozens season after season. Dynasty hasn't won an NXL main event since the beginning of 2017, but Philly could be their shot to hoist another first-place trophy and set the bar just a bit higher for all those who come next. After shocking the NXL Pro League and making it all the way to the semifinals in Vegas, beating legends and world champs along the way, and taking third place in their very first event as a pro team, San Diego Aftermath lost every single prelim game at the second event in Texas and finished 17th place overall. It was the worst the team had ever done, going all the way back to previous incarnations of Aftermath 10 years ago. From 3rd to 17th place is far to fall, but let's not get it twisted. You don't make it to the semifinals in the NXL Pro Division on luck alone. Aftermath is still a strong and talented young team, and those 4 prelim losses could catapult their game to the next level. If they use the lessons of the loss, it should only make them stronger in the long run. Their starting 5 will continue to be dangerous, but they might need to switch positions and players up just enough to be less scoutable. Their bowling ball on the D side, Frank Antetomaso, had a very hard time staying alive on the break in Texas after his phenomenal showing in Vegas. They're going to need him to stay on the field and push forward if they want to have any chance to make Sunday in Philly. Garrett Baldwin and David Barga have been doing well on the snake side with their combination of smart gunfights and aggression when needed. Rob Velez has great reads up the center and can cause chaos to help break open points. And like Barga, Tom Guest will need to shoot bodies and hold down lanes and then filter up the field when needed. Aftermath also has lots of talents in the pits looking for a chance to get spins and prove themselves. The team is currently ranked 9th overall with 3 events left to go, and they will be out for blood and redemption at the next event in Philadelphia. Welcome to the 2019 NXL Philly Open. I'm Matty Marshall with Nick Sloviak. Todd Martinez, the third stop on the tour, is going to be going down this weekend. Can't wait to get things rolling, and we have some amazing games here this morning to start this tournament out. We are on a little bit of delay. They are fixing the scoreboard right now, so we got a little bit of time to talk, set the stage here about these matchups that will be going down this morning. So, boys, first up, right out the gate, Dynasty and Aftermath, and this is going to be a big game for Aftermath. They did not win one game at the last event. They lost all 4 matches. They were in those matches. They weren't blowouts, but the 17th place that they took was the worst Aftermath has ever done, going all the way back to the very first incarnation of that team. They are all incredibly positive, though, after the losses that they took, but their first games against Dynasty. Also in this set, Tampa Bay Damage is taking on the ML Kings. Todd, talk to me about this Aftermath Dynasty matchup, though.
Well, Aftermath came in hot that very first event. Did really well, got all the way to the top, got super high on themselves. And how did the kids say they requested the smoke from the rest of the league? And the smoke they shall receive. As they went 1-3 or 0-4, I believe.
0-4.
0-4 at the last event. And now they get to start off the morning with San Diego Dynasty. So the smoke has been presented to you. So it's going to be a true test right here, first time in the morning. Dynasty, as we know, always has pretty good prelims come in with lots of stuff to execute, lots of good players, talented. They've been around the block 1, 2, 3, 400 times. And this is going to be a good game. It's either going to be Dynasty's going to beat the brakes off of Aftermath, or we're going to see a really close back-and-forth battle here.
Well, let's jump into Damage and ML Kings and set the stage there. I do want to talk about this layout a little bit, and then I do want to go back to the Dynasty Aftermath matchup, break that down a little bit. We do have a little bit of time here. Damage, ML Kings, Nick, what do you think about this matchup?
I think the big story here is for Damage. They got Joey Blue back as a coach. We saw a rogue soldier out there. We believe is Agent Smith. They couldn't even put a name on the back of this guy's jersey, but if I remember correctly, number 10 is him. So a lot of changes there. I had a very good conversation with Tim Montresor leading into last week's practice, and it's the first time in 7 years that Damage has left Florida, and they went to Dallas to play AC Dallas so the first time they've left Florida to practice someone in 7 years. Joey came in, and Tim said he's making some changes, and he's being very black and white about it. No
very
emotion.
Aggressive with his verbal ability, I guess would be the nice way to say it.
Yeah,
but that's what they need, though, right?
Absolutely.
I think Damage needs that.
They recognize that, and I think a lot of us have agreed that they need a more solid foundation in the coaching area.
Yes.
Instead of having a lot of those players, the Edwards brothers, Holiday, Tim. I mean, there's a lot of Chiefs right there, and they just need someone to take that and focus it. Unfortunately, on the receiving end of that, this first game of the morning is the ML Kings, and they haven't had, with the new roster they have, with not as many European guys coming in, they just haven't had a good run of it. Now, can't take anything away from them. Some of those guys play in Europe, and they're ballers. They know how to play. But on paper, I think you have to give this one to Damage, although, if this game doesn't go their way, it's going to tell you a lot about Joey.
Well,
The ML Kings did look good in Europe. It's a different team over here a little bit, but they have some talent on that squad, and they've given some teams some games. So you can't sleep on anyone here in the Pro Division, as we have definitely seen upsets so far at the first 2 events. But with Tampa Bay Damage bringing Joey Blute. So Joey Blute was the coach of Indianapolis Mutiny last year. Used to be the manager and the coach for Tampa Bay Damage back in the day. So he knows these guys very well. And I had a really long talk with Joey yesterday, and he pulled no punches. He was very truthful about what he thinks the team needs and what the guys individually need to do. And then Tim Montresor said that he had never been yelled at. As you can see, there's the ML Kings players on your screen. But Tim hadn't been yelled at after he made a mistake on the field. He said he couldn't even remember the last time he got an ear beating as bad as Joey gave him, but he walked away and he was like, whew. Man, he's right, though. And he was happy that he was receiving that criticism because they need to be held accountable. The names on the backs of the players on Tampa Bay Damage have not changed much. In fact, with the pickup of Keith Brown coming over from Edmonton Impact, I mean, that team really only has gotten better since, we're talking about a team that took 3rd place overall in 2000 at the end of the 2017 season. So a year and a half ago, we were looking at one of the best teams in the world, and now, I mean, they're I think down at 13th place right now, 14th place. And that's not Tampa Bay Damage, Paintball. So we're expecting bigger things out of Tampa Bay Damage. Now, how quick can they turn it around? We'll see. Again, with the players they have, at one point in time, Damage won 3 tournaments in a row, including the World Cup. So we are expecting big things out of them eventually.
And that started here in New Jersey. Well, close by.
Close
in New Jersey.
This area of the world.
Top Gun yesterday, practicing against New Jersey Supreme, the site of 2011, where Damage won that tournament in the pouring down rain, and then went on that run.
We were the only team to beat them that event. I just want to throw it out there.
Who were you playing with back then?
Aftershock.
Aftershock.
We went
right.
3-1 in the prelims and lost to that stupid tiebreaker rule. We beat Damage though.
And then they won.
And then they won.
And then they won. And they went on a run.
Yeah. And then they won. They won New Jersey. They won World Cup, and then they won Phoenix.
Yeah. And if you are
they won. Excuse me, Galveston in Phoenix.
Yeah. So if you are just tuning in, and we are on a little bit of a technical delay as they are trying to fix the scoreboard downstairs. So let's talk a little bit more about this Dynasty and Aftermath matchup here, and the fact that Dynasty is a team that definitely could win an event. As the Expendables, they won Prague last year. Dynasty looked really good for through their first 3 games. Actually, they looked good, period. Yes, they did lose on Sunday, but Dynasty was pretty spectacular. In 3 games at the beginning of the last tournament, only 1 point was scored on. 3 whole games, 1 point scored on them. They were just mashing. In fact, Dynasty had a plus 15, 23 points for and 8 against. They did get knocked out to by AC Dallas by 1 point in the quarterfinals. They're ranked 6th overall right now. The question still with Dynasty, I thought Arturo had a great showing at the last event on a pretty difficult snake side. They have Matty Kling, Brandon Short still retired. He was flirting with a comeback, it looked like, came out to practice. I saw Marcelo post that. I actually texted him. I'm like, is this legit? Is he coming back? And he's like, we're trying to make it happen. But Arturo did have a really good showing. So, and this is an amazing snake side of the field. If Arturo can step up over here like he did at the last event and show the promise that they picked him up, he got a lot of good spins in practice. They believe in him. They also believe in Matty Kling, but he's still a little bit more of that unpolished gem. They're still trying to get that thing where it needs to be as far as, making sure he's as aggressive as he needs to be on the snake side.
Got to get him those spins, and that's the problem, having both Matty Kling and Arturo when you need somebody that plays usually the most important side of the field to step up is to get those reps. And the only way you get that experience is in-game experience. So they got to run both of those guys, one of those guys more, right, to try and see who's ever earned it in practice. Those guys should get the majority of the reps when they come out here because they need somebody to figure out and get on the same page as the rest of the guys.
I was watching a lot of the practice points yesterday, talking to a lot of the guys, doing some homework, and talking about Dynasty right now. I watched Blake Yarber charge down that D side of the field and murder the Russians. He looked really good out there. And with the way Tyler Harmon and Blake Yarber and how well they've played, I think that Dynasty definitely has a chance here. I mean, we're talking about San Diego Dynasty. They are the most legendary paintball team in existence, and can't wait to see how Aftermath. I got a chance to talk to a lot of guys on the Aftermath squad as well too, and again, just so positive. I really feel that losing can be the lesson. I mean, that's one of those cliches in sports if you allow the lessons to resonate, and I really think that they did. They are going to have different looks out here. They're going to be harder to scout. There's just a lot of talent on that squad. Tom Guest didn't make practice, though, because of real-life stuff for his work. He couldn't get the time off. He did practice out here yesterday, but I don't know if he's going to be in their starting lineup to start things out here today. We will see. Probably not.
They
and he's been one of their go-to guys. He's been one of their most solid guys. So we'll see. They say they are going to be getting some spins. I talked to John Annucci, and he was, real proud of how everyone took the losses. He really thinks that this is a great field layout for him. Really hoping that Frank Antetomaso can stay alive off the break on that D side and maybe, flip the script a little bit with him, put him in some different positions to make them harder to scout instead of just always giving, that target on the D side of the field. Todd, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he had a rough one last event, and you could definitely tell that it showed. Not having Tom Guest is going to be huge because he's their stability guy, I feel like. He's always alive. He's very versatile. He communicates really well. But, you're right. Frank Antetomaso was the reason why they did so well because he set the tone for them in Vegas, right? He was making out alive to that Dorito side, shooting people on the run, making big moves, closing games. He's a threat. He's the weapon that they have over there on the Dorito side, so they need him to play big. And it's only a matter of time, I believe. I know that Tom didn't make practice, but he's one of those guys that you got to get him in there.
I think he's not going to be playing a ton today, but they are going to be working him in. You're right. He is one of their go-to guys. But when
everybody else has to step up.
But when I talked to John, the owner of the team and the guy that really helped Aftermath stay alive as a pro team, I said, who was playing the best in practice? And a lot of times when I'm asking these questions to coaches or players, they'll be like, oh, well, everyone was playing good. And I'll be like, come on, man, who was standing out, though? He said the guys that were standing out was Rob Velez, and Barga. Those were the two guys that were really standing out for Aftermath. What are your thoughts on that, Nick? I know that you and Barga go back.
We got a chance to practice them. And
so
if I were to look at that roster, those would be the two guys. No offense to any of the other guys, but those are the two guys that I would pick to stand out no matter what. Rob is a phenomenal player. He's got great field awareness. Came up in the boom and then the shock program. Barga, essentially the same thing in the Midwest. Those guys have played with and against each other for a while. And they've played pro. They've got the most pro experience out of anyone on that team. So, in practice, though, I had to worry about Rob and Barga constantly. Not to say that Frank wasn't making an impact, and he played both sides of the field, did a good job, but those are the guys that will look to see the game-breaking moves for the team or will hold strong and defend the point and pull it out. And if you can take any one of those two guys off the field, you have a good chance of beating that team. They are the glue that holds it together. Then you throw Tom Guest in there, and I think they should start him no matter what because the way this field plays, his gun off the break and then filling out to the tower of the can, that's built for him.
Well, let's actually talk since we're still on this technical delay as they're trying to get the scoreboard up and running here, get this first game going. Let's talk about the field layout a little bit. You guys obviously got a chance to practice this. Todd, I know you said you went all the way to Top Gun to get some scrimmages in. Nick, obviously you guys grinded the past couple weekends. Talk to me about this field layout. Todd, we'll start with you.
I really like it. We've seen a lot of real middle-centric fields over the past year and a half, but they've all been fast layouts. And here we have another fast layout, and I love it. I think that this field layout can really showcase the talents of the players, the aggressiveness of the players out there that really want to get up the field, that are willing to make bold moves and go out and want to kill people for their teammates. I don't think this is going to be a field where you can sit in the back and try and cross it up. But, I mean, Joey Blute is back for Damage, so if anybody can figure it out, it's going to be those guys. But I think this is an aggressive field. I think that, down the wires, there's just so many big bunkers and such a long chain from end to end that you can get in and get down the wires. So I don't think the middle is going to be as important as it was as we've seen over the past year worth of layouts, aside from Chicago World Cup, where it was pretty balanced, but there was that big, one side with big giant bunkers. But, I don't think the middle is going to be as huge as it's been in recent events. I think it's going to be, a battle down the wires. Like last event, we didn't really see a whole lot of snake-on-snake action, where I think we're going to see some guys in the snake, guys flying down the Dorito side. I think it's going to be nonstop action.
It was interesting, and you just literally said exactly the same thing almost everyone said. So that seems to be the consensus across the board from the top players and the coaches out here as to how this specific layout is going to play. It is interesting, though, because we just came off of an event where we had an incredibly center-heavy. That's where a lot of the action was going through. Not a lot of players like that snake so much, even though the teams that thrived were getting into that snake at the last event. However, Nick, talk to me about some key spots out there on the field. We'll start with the snake side.
Well, it's interesting. If you want to start with the snake side, the one thing that has to stand out to people, and you can see it on your screen, is that on both sides of the field, the Dorito side, which is going to be the spectator tape with those big 3D dimensional, we call them Doritos triangles. The snake side and the Dorito side are both mirrored up in a sense to where they have the mini walls and these wedges on both sides of the field, which allows for those players to make fast breaks out. And because of the way the rest of the bunkers are spread out, specifically those big 50 bricks, that allows a lot of coverage for those runners. When you get over here to the snake side, it's going to be up to the snake player on whether or not they want to get into the snake one right away, which is that first lay down beam with the mini cake bunker, or they want to try and, with the wet grass that we've had with the rain coming these last few days, try and get all the way out to the mini wall or the wider bunker offset off the beam. Now, if you do try to get out to this beam, or excuse me, with snake 2 with this mini wall right here, you have a great shot cross field on you from the tower on the Dorito side. So it's just one of those risks you're going to have to run. But I think we're going to see a lot of aggressive play, as Todd said, with the way that these fields are mirrored on the same side, both Doritos and Snake. It allows for those essentially the same runs on either side. I think the Dorito side has a little bit more of an advantage because of how wide those Doritos are in the shots. But with that being said, it's really going to be interesting to see as shooters who does a good job of picking the right lane to shoot and trying to eliminate those runners on the break. I like the snake corner. I like the can. I think, as Todd said, you're not going to have a lot of teams, especially when, except for Damage maybe, except for, when the time ticks down. If it's 1 minute left and I need to, the game plan is to try and stop Todd from coming and beating me, there's not a lot of spots I can, the best defense there is a good offense. So,
well, just real quick, a slight little tangent here because you were talking about Damage. So in my long conversation I had with Joey Bloop, their new coach, or coming back to coach. So he's been starting off every practice with one-on-ones. Does one-on-ones, looks at every single how everyone's playing and keeps score. Who do you think, Todd, the number one-on-one players are on Tampa Bay Damage?
Brian Smith.
Nope.
No.
Jacob Edwards.
Nope.
Jason Edwards.
Nope.
Cortez?
Nope.
Cortez on mutiny.
Well, no. Then who'd they pick up? Who's the
Elias Rodriguez?
Elias?
My bad.
Nope.
Elias. Oh, then okay. We don't know.
Chad.
Nope. Keith Brown and Tim Montresor.
Really?
Those are the number
Everybody except
one-on-one
the people I
guys.
said.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, apparently Keith Brown and Tim Montresor were the one-on-one kings for Tampa Bay Damage. So if we go to one-on-ones, which we've seen a little bit here.
I picked Brian Smith because I figured maybe it was him coming out of, he didn't come out of retirement. He was playing with Mutiny last year, but, just showing up day one, beating everybody at one-on-one, that wouldn't surprise me.
No, it wouldn't surprise me at all. That is a real big pickup for Tampa Bay Damage. Again, we still are on a technical timeout here as NXL is doing their best to fix the scoreboard. We are going to see a very highly aggressive field as Todd and Nick were breaking down here. It was just so great to walk around and talk to everyone yesterday and see the smile on the front players' faces talking about the D side and the snake side.
You know what was so great, Todd?
What was great?
Seeing Matty Marshall just show up to a 10-man event, suit up with Cap Factory and try and play some paintball, not tell anyone about it.
Been
trying for years.
Oh, man. How did you guys do out there?
Yeah, how'd you do out there?
Man, we did amazing.
No, I know how Maddie did. How did you guys do?
We took 5th. Northwest Rogue in the house, representing.
Yeah.
And Maddie won the tournament.
And Maddie took 17th.
No, we were terrible. Cat Factory, 10-man. The NXL is doing an amazing job with the 10-man. The Iron City Classic's coming up. We will be webcasting the Iron City Classic. 10-man's phenomenal. Not to go into a whole 10-man segue, but, man, if you are on the fence about playing that, you've got to get in there. It was great to see some of the guys. Brandon Unger, a perfect example. Unger comes out, never played a Woods Ball event, ever. First Woods Ball event, wins the tournament with Adrenaline.
He killed it out there. I was watching him.
He did great. I'm looking forward to seeing Thunder. Let's talk about some of these other teams since we're on this technical timeout here. So in the bracket with Dynasty, Aftermath, Damage, and ML Kings, who we're watching right now, is also Edmonton Impact. We're going to see Impact play their first game against Aftermath. So Aftermath will be warmed up, and Impact, a disappointing finish for them at the last event. Some controversy as Alex Goldman, a.k.a. Mouse, headbutted Rainey Stanzik, had to go to paintball prison. He was not on the field during that miraculous comeback that the Russians had against Impact to knock them out of the tournament, gave Impact a little taste of their own medicine. But Impact is going to be dialed in here, and you can just get a little glimpse of that as Goldman just not much of a headbutt.
Can I say something?
Not
a headbutt.
Okay, let's watch it again.
You can't really see it there. Not a headbutt. He just
it's more like a head thrust.
He just eased it in there. I mean, if anything, they were kissing. you know.
And there he is.
And then where is it?
Paintball prison.
Wait for it. Is he gonna? No.
Oh,
maybe?
I don't think that's on this graphic.
No, or they like the
bars. The jail bars down.
I saw that. I about fell out of my chair. So shout out to the crew down below.
Well, my teammate Alex Goldman, as we played together on Cat Factory.
Yeah, how do you play?
He didn't play terrible. He got caught a little bit out there, but it was fun. It was fun playing with Mouse. It was fun playing with everyone. We had a great team: Ryan Moorhead, Sam Monville, Tim Montresor. It was, hats off to Dave Baines and Roy Richard, who put that together. But this is, I can't wait to see Alex Goldman play this snake side. This is a great snake for Mouse. He's going to be, and I talked to him about it. He's fired up to come out here and try to win this golden barrel. Maybe we could have that conversation before we get into some of these other games. Again, we're still on the technical timeout. Who's going to win this thing this weekend? Nick, what do you think? Nick Sloviak?
I'm not saying there's a chance, but there's a chance.
All right. Archie did say, I'm going to pat you on the back. He said you're playing the best paintball he's ever seen you play.
Oh,
that's what Archie Montenor told me yesterday.
Oh. Well, it's probably not a good idea to tell Pev to get lunch ready before. Just kidding. It's interesting. I think there's definitely some people that are out there for it. You can see the last two winners on the screen. Justin Rabikoff taking it in Las Vegas, 46 kills of 46 points played, and then Samotrov. Man, you want to talk about snake players and impact with Goldman. On the flip side of things, the team to defeat and knock out Impact at the last event in Texas, the Red Legion, the Russians, Samotrov, 46 kills out of 45 points played. Interested to see how he stacks up going into this event. But I think in terms of the overall kill winner, if Brian Smith's playing number one on the snake side, we could see him take that.
Well, you got to go deep into the tournament.
Yeah,
we've only had one. So the Top Gun award we've been giving away for the past two events this year. We had the Top Gun before for the whole season, but you have to go deep into the tournament. We've only had one player, I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, make it to the semifinals and still have the most amount of kills. So that is possible. It has happened. But if you're not getting to the finals, especially on a layout like this, the front players are going to get a lot of kills on this layout. We're probably going to see a ton of points played on this layout. I was hearing from some of the practice info I got that they were playing 15 points in a game.
So what's your plus minus on the number of kills it's going to take to
do well? Both. It's interesting that there was 46 kills for both J-Rab and Smotrov. So I think it's going to be over 46. Though there are a lot of bounce shots on this field. So
well, and it's interesting too because Justin is not a number one. He's a support. Justin's a support player, and he mops up games, and that's what gets him kills. And every once in a while, you'll see those players. Matt Jackson, he was right there. Matt and John Jackson were both in the running last event, and those guys aren't taking the snake on the break. And what do? They shoot people on the break, and they close out games smartly most of the time together.
They stay alive.
They stay alive. Yeah. And when you stay alive,
yeah,
and if you follow up your front guy, Todd and I are playing. I take the snake on the break. He's got my back. I get down the field, draw the guns on me. He gets necks, packs, and backs, baby. Gets them all.
I think it's going to be a lot more than 46. I don't know how many more. Again, lots of points on this field, but lots of bounce shots. So we may lose some kills here or there. Again, it's confirmed
52.
kills. 52? I think that's a pretty
52.
legit number. Todd, what do you think?
60.
60?
60? Is that a record?
I think that would be a record.
It's gonna be a big kill weekend.
Yeah, I think it is too.
I really think, though, I'm going to call that it won't be a front player that gets it. Because as much as I think this field is very conducive for attackers on either side, even through the middle, I think the shooters, specifically with certain teams, Damage has got great shooters, AC Dallas has got great shooters. I think those guys are going to rack up a bunch of kills. I really do. And I think it's going to be those guys that close the games out smartly. I think it'll be a number 2 or 3 that, well, not so there's even a 3 anymore. But I think it'll be a 2 that gets the award.
You think so?
Yeah. I do.
I don't know. It very well could be because there are a lot of 2s out there that are always in the running neck and neck with some of the best ones. Todd, you're smiling on your face over there. Kyle Spica? I think it's going to be Kyle Spica?
Well, I'm thinking about it right now.
Alan Golding?
I'm thinking about it right now, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to say, like, it's going to be this guy or that guy, but I'm just trying to put together a list of maybe a top 5 guys that it could be, right? I think that Smotrov and Bierdnikov, the way that those guys have been playing for the Russians, has been
lights out,
right? So I think that those guys are going to get a lot of kills, but honestly, I think this is going to be Karslev's tournament. Don't be surprised if you see Karslev in the top 5. Okay, so I'm just going to Those are the
take
easy
notes.
ones, right? The
Let's write
first
this
two are
down.
the easy ones. Don't be surprised if Karslev ends up in the top 5.
I think Justin's got a decent chance of repeating.
Yeah.
He was sick at the last event. A lot of people forgot about that.
Another ones that are really pretty much gimmies, Alex Goldman and Chad George.
Yeah.
But I think this might be one of those events where Fedorov shows up and shoots 1 million people. And if anybody can get 60 kills, it's Konstantin Fedorov.
Yeah, and 60 kills, I just got confirmation from our stats guys downstairs. 60 kills is the record set by Ryan Greenspan in 2017. So that's the high watermark right now.
Well, I guess you just have to throw his hat in the ring then.
Tyler Harmon. So I'm going to go Tyler Harmon, Fedorov, Chad George, Alex Goldman.
Okay.
Those
are all really good picks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Leaving my guys out of this. You know,
I think Kyle Spica has
honestly,
a chance.
the way that we've been playing, I think that anybody on our team could go off right now.
Yeah.
I think that we had really good practices. I think everybody's playing good. I think everybody wants it. Don't be surprised, you know, if it's Kyle Spica, Corey Hall,
the Enforcer,
Alan Golding,
Trevor Reeser.
It very well could be. And again, we are on a technical timeout. So let's get a look here at the schedule here this morning. We can see we're starting things out as we've been talking about the set that is coming up next. Coming up first, San Diego Dynasty taking on San Diego Aftermath, even though it's more like Midwest Aftermath. Tampa Bay Damage is going to be taking on the ML Kings. And then also after that, it's going to be Revo and Infamous, Extreme and Boom. And then Impact going to be playing their first game against Aftermath. Dynasty Damage also in that set. Then AC Dallas, Los Angeles Infamous at 11 o'clock. These are all Eastern time. And then Revo and Extreme, Impact, ML Kings, Uprising, and Elevation will take the field to close out the morning. And then in the afternoon, we're going to see one of the favorites here, AC Dallas. AC Dallas was second place finish the last event. They've been in the finals 3 times now, have not been able to close the deal. Maybe this is their event. They're going to be taking on Boom. Boom almost beat Houston Heat at the last event.
They did beat Houston
Heat.
It
was a 5-on-1 in overtime. A major penalty was called under 60 seconds, swing point, win for Heat with an asterisk. So we'll see if Boom can summon that same game out here as they take the field against AC Dallas. PC Katana will be taking on the Outlaws, and then Houston Heat, another big favorite here as they're ranked 2nd overall, going to be taking on Seattle, a resurgent Seattle Thunder. Los Angeles Ironman in that set with Uprising. Then the big favorites here, the team that's won 3 events in a row, trying to make it a 4-peat as they've been winning in Europe and winning over here. They've looked amazing, really finding their form. The Russian Legion taking on DMG, then X Factor, and PC Katanas is at 345. Then 445, it's going to be Houston Heat, and Scottsdale Elevation, LA Ironman, Seattle Thunder, and then to close out day 1 of the prelims, Red Legion and the Outlaws, X Factor, and DMG. So let's talk about your bracket here, Nick, as again, we're still on this technical timeout, trying to fix the scoreboard. Russians, X Factor, DMG, PC Katana, and Outlaws. Nick, what do you think about your bracket?
It's definitely a bracket. When you look at it on paper, I mean, we can't, as X Factor, can't take anyone lightly. I think the scariest team in that bracket to me isn't so much the Russians, but Sacramento DMG. They pick up Urena. We had a really good game with them, or we had a good game with them, a decent game with them in Vegas, but they played really, really well in Texas. You guys had a really good game against them, and it was. I think you're seeing a lot more teamwork out of that group. And you know, they picked up Urena from Elevation, Facebook breaking news, and on the flip side, you know, Katana, they lost Supa, arguably one of their best guys. So I think that's going to do one of 2 things. It's either going to make them work harder, or they might falter. But I've always pulled for Katana. I think they're a good team. Again, we can't overlook them. And then the far end of the spectrum, you got, you know, fan favorites, and the team that's been winning the most the last 3 events, both here and in Europe, is the Russians. And we're fortunate enough the way the schedule works that we play them last. But that means you can't drop the game against Katana. We can't drop a game against Sacramento DMG. And then I think Trade My Guns is kind of a wild card. I think depending on how they play this field, if they just stick to their guns and play aggressive and can somewhat control in the back, I think they have a good chance too. But for us as X Factor, we just can't underestimate those teams. We can't let off the gas, and we just have to play consistent paintball.
I heard really good things about the Russians coming out of their practice against New York Extreme. I heard Smotrov was running and gunning to the 40 and 50-yard line, shooting 2 guys off the break on the run.
Watch the video of it. I mean, they posted some points of them playing at Matt's Outback in Connecticut, and if there's one clip you want to put in, it's Smodrov running and shooting all the way to this wedge over here on the snake side. But I think just about any snake player on any team can do that.
Yeah, definitely. He just looks so good doing it.
Well, I can't wait to shoot him.
But I really think that
in the face.
Hey, talk about teams that are due to win. X Factor is as due as anyone to win a tournament.
We played them last event and they beat us. But you know what? I got to give my man here. I went to Smodrov at the end of the event and gave him his golden barrel. I was like, hey man, Smodrov, congrats on the kills. You're not the one-on-one champ though, bro. I watched that because I watched myself play a little bit. Todd saying, turn on the jets. Made me feel so good.
But we were talking about Karslev earlier. Karslev is, he's definitely not
I'm
underrated.
I'm going to call he gets more kills than Smodrov this event.
Dude, Karslev is phenomenal. That guy's really coming into his own. That's what makes the Russians so scary because their support players, Alexander Burtnikov, Sergei Solnaiskov, and Kirill Peridny are just aging like a fine wine. They keep getting better too, and the way that they're playing behind their young killers with Pavel Karslev and Leo Smodrov, that's just a really scary looking team because winning is contagious and they're starting to get really confident.
Question for you two guys: how much of a difference has Sergei Solnaiskov made for the Russians?
I think that Golev is a high level.
Huge.
Yeah, I think Denis Golev's great. He's helped that team for a long time. Sergei Solnaiskov is elite.
Is he the difference why they won 3 events in a row?
I don't know if he's the difference. I think it's very nuanced. I think there's a lot going on over there. I think it's a combination of the fact that those guys are we're talking about Karslev and Smodrov. They're starting to weed out those rookie mistakes that they were making, dying early, making poor mental decisions in key spots that they could have stayed alive and really made a difference in a point. So you combine those two guys really finding their form and becoming elite. Then Sergei comes on, and you bring another elite player in. The fact that Kirill continues to just have, not perfect timing, but some of the best timing in the business to close points and help his guys. And then you have Malloy, Alexander Burtnikov, who's one of the greatest ever to pick up a paintball gun. So when you have those guys, and then they have guys on the bench also that are pretty good too. So I think you add all those things in, and that's just kind of the magic mix that's working for him.
Yes. Yeah, I think Sergei, 100%. And I think it definitely is a huge blow to Heat not having him on the team. Off the field stuff aside, you want to dive into that however you want. Sergei's a phenomenal paintball player. He's a phenomenal paintball player. He stays alive. He shoots people on the break, and he has no fear when it comes to take people out. And I think his confidence and just the foundation that he lays out for the Russians on the field is definitely helping them win. You know what? Let Karslev and Smodrov attack all you want and do their damage, but when I have to look back and go, oh, shit, that's Sergei down at the other end? Well, the guy is a nasty gunfighter. Yeah, I think.
Great timing. Yeah. So,
without a doubt.
So it looks like we are going to be getting things rolling here to play.
Yeah, we got under 3 minutes to go here. Dynasty out on the field. You can see them on your screen. Tyler Harmon, Ryan Greenspan looks like, is that Alex Rodriguez, I believe?
A-Rod, Tyler, Yosh.
So we're missing one.
Ryan.
We'll see who the 5th body is. On the flip side, Rob Velez stomping out to the field for Aftermath.
And also this game is brought to you by Virtue Paintball. The first 100 customers are going to get 30% off. VirtuePB.com. You want to use that promo code VirtueNXL30. So get built to win with Virtue's huge 30% off sale at Virtue PB and all participating Virtue dealers as well. So visit your preferred Virtue dealer and check out Virtue PB. Save that 30%. You see the promo code there, VirtueNXL30. Only limited to 100 customers. Virtue's had some crazy sales this year at these events, so you want to hurry up, place your order now. And again, code VirtueNXL30. So, San Diego Dynasty, San Diego Aftermath. Also in this set, Tampa Bay Damage and the ML Kings. It's about to go down.
It's going down for real.
You can see there.
Hey, you've played for Aftermath.
Yep.
Big history here between both these teams, although it's interesting that there's no one on Aftermath from San Diego, really, right? Alex Rodriguez played for this team last year.
Yeah.
And Mike Hinman, has to take a step back, focus on his company. And Alex is one of the first people to leave. I think everyone from California essentially left, right?
That was the story at the beginning of the year. Hinman basically said, I'm going to fold the team. And then Iannucci and Coach Jerry said, no, we want our shot. We earned this. And they found a way to put it together, and that's why they're here. And that's why you have a bunch of guys from the Midwest, guys from Canada.
A lot of
right?
Also, a lot of guys used to play for Aftershock.
Right? So, you know, they're making it happen out here.
So here we go, first point of the tournament. Right now on your screen, San Diego Dynasty on the breakout, sending Tyler Harmon out to the back corner bunker here, snake side of field. Good break for Dynasty and a good break for Aftermath.
Yeah.
Neither team losing a body. The looks like back corner player, snake side getting checked out, but he's clean, and Aftermath doubles up the can, trying to make a move here on the snake side, and it is Frank playing over here on the snake side. This is what I want to see out of Aftermath, some diversity in their attack, switch their spots up, make themselves less scoutable, and a good break for both squads, 5-on-5.
Yeah, almost an identical breakout for both teams, except Aftermath makes the first bump into the Dorito 2, and then Frank comes out of the back center and gets himself now in a great position to get into the snake. Alex Rodriguez making a big bump out to the snake side mini corner. Dorito out there, and Ryan Greenspan filters out to the snake corner to put pressure on, I believe that's Baldwin, in the mini wall on the Dorito side of the Dorito 3. He's mirrored up with Blake Yarber.
Yeah, Blake Yarber also quickly making his way to the mini wall. Outside wide on the D side, and Blake is up and over the top of his spot trying to get a shot. No, it's Eaton, Joel Eaton getting the start. Yeah, it's John Iannucci told me yesterday that Eaton really stepped up in practice, and so one of their newer players.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Baldwin when I saw him clearly make the snake corner, so I apologize for that.
There's Barga at the tower, and that's quite the turret. Nick, is that the spot you're going to be playing?
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but I think the surprising thing here, Todd, to me, is that no one's been shot yet. It's 5-on-5.
Yeah, Blake Yarber makes his move up to the wedge on the red side of the field for San Diego Dynasty. As we zoom in, Blake Yarber, referee right by him there, giving him backside of a check. And the first to lose a body is going to be San Diego Aftermath.
Rob Velez taking the walk.
Yeah, Rob Velez, first to die here at the 2019 NXL Philly Open. And Blake Yarber must have got some misinformation because he runs through and doesn't get anybody. So it's now 4-on-4. Eaton on your screen, but a good move by Alex Rodriguez as Rodriguez gets out wide. And Todd, you had talked about how this center, not as many options up this center of the field. So going to be interesting to see what they do with Alex Rodriguez.
Now the first to get in the snake, Todd.
Yep, here comes Aftermath. Aftermath filled that body out of the back center towards the snake side. Dynasty sent it towards the Dorito side, but both teams lost the body off the side that they sent their back center player to early. So really, here comes Ryan Greenspan now out of the corner. He's going to jump into the outside mini wall on the snake side, try and get a shot across the field right away. But Frank Antetomaso is going to sneak into the snake, mirrored up with Ryan.
Looks like Alex Rodriguez is now hunting as Alex Rodriguez is going to run through and blast the back of Joel Eaton. He's going to get a two-pack here to blow this point open potentially on that D side. A beautiful move from Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, Rodriguez gets two. Baldwin picks up Rodriguez to stop that attack. Now Baldwin gets shot over the top in the head by Yosh. Frank's going to run down and trade out with Ryan Greenspan. So it looks like just Yosh Rao left alive. Yosh, good job following up that move to get that kill on Baldwin. It's unfortunate for Baldwin because he got that kill and then switched to protect Frank, and he missed the move by Yosh. So,
well, what a beautiful move by Alex Rodriguez. Read the timing perfect and came through at the right moment to get both Eaton and Barga.
Yeah, so I think he saw Barga make the move, and I think this might be a bad move here. We'll see the replay. Ryan Greenspan leaving the corner, going all the way to the snake, and immediately shooting cross. But here's the move by Alex. Barga just left that tower and went inside right away as soon as he got to that Dorito, and that's a big mistake. If you do that, you take your eyes effectively off that whole Dorito side, and because those wedges are so wide, Todd, you can't really see that guy coming. And if he sees Joel Eaton playing inside, no one's watching that lane.
Nope.
So now our first point here, this next game in this set, Tampa Bay Damage. Can they find the form that saw them win the World Cup 3 events in a row, take third place overall just a year and a half ago? We will see. It has not been a good year so far for Tampa Bay Damage. They picked up Keith Brown from Impact and got Joey Blute back as a coach, and also Brian Smith is back. Agent Smith looks like he's going to be playing behind Keith here, and they're taking on the ML Kings. Looks like Johnny Greer going to be the first body to walk off here for the ML Kings, but also losing a body. Keith Brown coming off for damage. It's 4-on-4.
Yeah, not sure if Keith Brown got shot crawling up to that snake too, or if he died filling into the snake. The one body down for each team. And looks like the snake player here for ML
Hayek.
Kings might have taken one.
The old boy Hayek.
Hayek, one of the toughest guys in the league. Nobody could take multiple bunkerings like Hayek. He's been getting better. He's been starting to, just like all rookie front players, die sometimes in inopportune moments, but he seems to be their last guy left alive a lot. And Hayek, though, been hearing good things about him in practice, so getting the start here on the snake side for the ML Kings. We're looking over their shoulder here on the D side, on our D side cam. And you can see those wedges out wide with the mini walls, and then those D2 lined up.
Yeah, you got a good battle developing over there. But 3 players for Tampa Bay Damage over on that Dorito side. Tim Montresor has to play cross because of where Hayek's at in the snake. ML Kings now making a move, going to get checked out immediately on that Dorito side. He's clean. It is 4-on-4. Each team losing a body essentially off the break. ML Kings out of the back center. And now Damage giving a body back, making a sloppy fill as Jacob Edwards getting shot. Immediately, Jason Edwards fills out to the Dorito corner. Oh, nice shot down the tape. First engagement. ML Kings getting a shot on his mirror. And now Tim Montresor dies, so...
It is not looking good for Tampa Bay Damage as the bodies are dropping all over the place. Looks like just one player left alive, and he's in D1.
ML Kings lose their Dorito attacker, so it's a 3-on-1 right now. Hayek, Paya. I'm not sure who this player is here in the corner, but there's Jason Edwards, the last player left alive, and he walks, comes right out into the first ball from Paya. So Paya getting himself at least 1 kill there.
Yeah, nothing crazy here for the ML Kings. Just win a couple gunfights on this field here in point number 1, and you can't sleep on anyone.
And we talk about the ML Kings the way we do because they've had a really rough go these first couple events. But if they can beat Tampa Bay Damage, who also hasn't played well, then that will be huge for the ML Kings. And doubly as devastating for Tampa Bay Damage, because Tampa Bay Damage is a team that's used to winning. They brought back Brian Smith. They bring back Joey Blute. They're trying to change the culture back to what it was when they were in their winning ways. If Tampa Bay Damage comes out here and can't get a win against the ML Kings, they're all going to be scratching their head, trying to figure out what is going on, because they've already asked this question.
Well, let's check in with the 4th member of our broadcast team, Lauren Kelly. Lauren, what do you got for us?
Thanks, guys. Only 1 point into this weekend, and arguments are already happening in the Aftermath pit. After that first point, Aftermath actually had an early body advantage when Tyler Harmon was shot out of that snake corner. They were saying they can absolutely not lose any body advantages, and they need to protect Rob Velez because Blake Yarber and Alex Rodriguez were double teaming him in that first point.
Jumping into this next point with Dynasty with that 1-point lead still. A lot of time to go here as we're just getting things started.
Yeah, it's twice now, Maddie and Todd. We've seen Frank shoot from the back center and filter out and double up the can.
And now Frank, the one on the snake side here, at least in these first couple points for Aftermath. And you can see Aftermath on your screen with a good crossfield spread, 5 alive, but the first to get into snake is going to be Maddie. Is that Arturo, Maddie?
Arturo.
That's Arturo. Yes, Arturo getting the start here. And again, Arturo really stepped up for him the last event in Texas, and they really think highly of him, and we started to see what they've been seeing. And he's going to need to hold the weight for Dynasty on this side of the field. And he's the first to go. So he's in snake 1. He's going to get some help as A-Rod dives in behind him, but loses his loader and able to grab it real quick, so no harm done. 5 alive for Dynasty. Tyler Harmon in D2, so good crossfield spread for San Diego Dynasty. They might be losing Arturo, though. Oh, Arturo dying. Couldn't see if he got shot in the transition or once he got to the mini wall here on the snake side.
Looks like he got shot crossfield from Barga. And now Tyler Harmon trying to make a move, gets picked off. So 2 bodies for Dynasty drop right away.
Frank now gets into the snake and scurries quickly, and he's eyes up, looking to move down the field as 2 bodies have dropped. He's only looking at 3 bodies in front of him and trying to even up the score and make this one 1-1 as he's now at the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I can see Frank there on your screen, probing around that spot. I don't think Dynasty is aware that he's there. He doesn't have a shot on him if that's Yosh Rao in the Dorito corner. He's going to have to pass the 50. And if he can go forward and take out or at least trade with Alex Rodriguez, it's going to be a big thing for him and his team. Ryan Greenspan getting checked out in the snake corner.
Yeah,
and
looks
he's
like
hit.
Ryan's going to get pulled out. 2 Dynasty guys having to get pulled out now off the snake side. as Aftermath is pushing up that Dorito side. It gets real tight in there in that snake corner. A-Rod and Yosh Rao, as Yosh Rao just took one in the pack from across the field as well. So he's going to come walking off, but they do get Frank and Tommaso.
Yeah, Frank just got caught rapping. That was a bad death for Frank, and a really nice read from Alex Rodriguez, who was really stepping up for Dynasty here in this point, but he's about to get run down. Barga had enough of that. And so
Baldwin took out Alex Rodriguez. So A-Rod clocking in with the kill, Baldwin getting himself a kill.
Velez still alive out there as well. So good point here for Aftermath, winning a couple gunfights, holding zones down. And A-Rod tried to make it interesting, but nothing he could do. Too many bodies in front of him.
You know, the big thing I think we're going to have to watch for is just how people choose to play. And it's going to be a little harder for us to see the Dorito side, but just the snake side of these wedges with confidence. Like, you can tell Frank really had no idea what was in front of him. He was wrapping, looking
Honestly,
inside.
I think that I was going to say at the first point, but I didn't want to say at the first point because it's only the first point. Neither of these teams sound like they're communicating.
Right.
Yeah, I just
100%.
don't think that anybody's talking. I think guys are getting to their spots and searching.
Yeah.
Right? That means there's no communication.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You know?
And thank you guys so much for joining us here. 2019 NXL Philly Open. And make sure to head on over to gosports.com, subscribe, and help us out. We're trying to do all that we can with your support to bring you guys as much paintball content as we possibly can. But again, we need your help to do that. It will be my constant plea to all of the fans out there. Jumping into point number 2 here, ML Kings. Guys, I totally agree with you, and it was interesting because a lot of the Snake players I talked to as we start this next damage in ML Kings point, but all the Snake players I talked to said communication cross-field is going to be key for them because you can't always see the guy that's in front of you in there.
It's going to be tough is what it's going to be. Payamar is the first to get shot. I think he got shot by Jacob Edwards, wrapping the Dorito. Paya just playing a little too tall. Well, playing to his normal height, I guess.
He's the tallest guy in the league. He's like 6'7".
Sometimes that's an advantage and sometimes it's not. Wrapping on that Dorito too, you definitely have a blind shot into that guy. So one body advantage right now for Damage. That's Damage on your screen. Keith Brown taking the snake corner on the break. He's got, is that a lot? No, it's Brian Smith. Brian Smith getting himself into the snake. Ooh, might have taken one coming across. I think he did.
That's
he did.
the same shot that just cost Arturo his body in the last point with Dynasty and Dynasty and Aftermath. So now Brian Smith coming off. 4 bodies alive still for Tampa Bay Damage. You see Keith Brown in the back corner bunker.
Yeah, that's a great shot by the ML Kings. I think that was Johnny Greer shooting cross from the tower that picked up Brian Smith. And that's the lane that the snake player will get picked up on the break trying to take that position. Big gap right there. Keith Brown wins a gunfight down the tape, gets himself a kill on his mirror.
Beautiful gunfight, left-handed from Keith Brown. Gonna even up the count now, 4-on-4, and here comes the push from Tampa Bay Damage on the D side, getting into the wedge. Got the 40-yard line. And here comes Edwards, gonna push over behind Tim Montresor, try to help Keith out as Keith's the only body on this snake side. Looks like Johnny Greer's going to come across and get his face blasted. Yeah. Another body comes off for the ML Kings, and here comes Keith Brown and the rest of the boys from Tampa Bay Damage on the attack as the bodies are getting peeled off all over the place here for the ML Kings, and that is going to tie things up. We're going to be locked at 1-1 with a little under 11 minutes to go. Lots of time on that clock.
Yeah, I like the fill back by Jason Edwards there at the end because him doing that, he saw Johnny Greer make the move to the back center and got a shot on him heads up to get that elimination. So good production across the board from everyone on Damage, getting some good kills. And you know, kind of unfortunate for the ML Kings there as they fell apart piece by piece. Here's Jacob Edwards, got himself that first kill on Paya, and then he wins a gunfight down the tape.
Well, it's good to see Jacob Edwards find his form again, see if he can keep it up. Tampa Bay Damage needs Jacob Edwards to play to the best of his ability. They know it, he knows it. And Joey Blute has been telling him constantly, hey, man, you need to play like Jacob Edwards used to play. You can see there's Jeremy Somm, owner-coach of the Outlaws, talking to Chris Jansen, owner-coach of Boom, as they are getting ready for their games coming up here in a little bit.
I think they're conspiring.
Looks like a timeout just been called, I think by Dynasty, looks like Aftermath was ready to go. So at least to start things out, 2 close games so far. Both these games tied up. Alex Rodriguez has played some real good paintball in these first 2 points for Dynasty.
Hey, speaking of Alex's, there's one Alex I haven't seen here. Is Alex Frazier not here? I didn't see him this morning.
I don't know. I came
Alex
straight up to the booth.
Yeah, I didn't see Alex at the practice yesterday, and I did not see him down there, so I don't know
think
if
he's
here today.
Yeah, so hopefully everything's going good with Mr. Frage. But he hasn't. They've run 2 lines now, and I've not seen him, and I don't remember seeing him at all yesterday or in the pit. So interesting move.
Yeah.
Fresh eggs.
Yeah. Also, as you can see, the fan predictions here. Hopefully you got your picks in. My Fan Wagon, play fantasy paintball, guns at stake here. You have to be a VIP member in order to have the opportunity to win those guns, so make sure you get into that VIP section. Dynasty, a pretty big favorite over San Diego Aftermath, 76-24, and then Damage, a huge favorite over the ML Kings. So about to jump into this next point with this game. Tied up 1-1. On the split screen, breakout. As a pretty big bite here for Aftermath. They go all the way into Snake 2, but they do lose the body behind him, and they're going to lose him as well. So 2 is actually a tough break here as Baldwin gets shot out, and I think that was Velez behind him. So I do like that Aftermath are switching their bodies up and putting them in different places, but a tough break for them. They do shoot Blake Yarber, so it's a 4-on-3 situation, but still in favor of San Diego Dynasty.
You know, watching 3 points now, you saw Blake Yarber start on the Dorito side, Tyler start on the Snake side, and then Tyler go to the Dorito side. Now he's back on the Snake side to put Blake back in. I think Dynasty's trying to make a concerted effort to get Blake involved more and not just rotate Blake and Tyler. I think they realize that they need to have both of those guys on the field. As Yosh Rao makes a big move down the Dorito side, he's going to get one before he gets picked up. He's asking the ref for a penalty, no call. Barga moves up into the Dorito. Rodriguez moves into the 40 brick. Here comes Barga on the move. He's going to come get A-Rod. Takes out A-Rod and gets picked up himself.
Well, it looks like Dynasty still with Ryan Greenspan and Tyler Harmon alive here in the chaos, going down on the D side. Beautiful move by Yosh, and then Barga coming through with a nice move of his own to take out Rodriguez. And as the dust settles, everyone's trying to count the bodies. Looks like it is a 1-on-2 situation in favor of San Diego Dynasty, as Greenspan is now pushing over, but shooting still towards the Snake, so Dynasty does not have the count right now. But that's absolutely understandable with all that chaos, and we're going to see that all weekend long. This is a fast field layout, as looks like Frank trying to come over and while out here on the Snake side, out in the blind area. That did not work out for him.
He went to South Carolina to try and get that shot down the wire.
Well, I'll tell you what, he definitely had a chance, because when he made the fill back to from the Snake corner to the back center, Dynasty had no idea. And it stinks because he was playing inside on Tyler. If he would have played the outside and caught Ryan filling out, he would have turned it into a 1-on-1, because Ryan was running back to the center of the field, shooting at the Snake side. So let's head on down, checking with Lauren Kelly for an update.
Thanks. As you guys were mentioning, you haven't seen Alex Frazier out here on the field just yet, and I did talk to Arturo Andrade. He told me that Alex actually did not make it out here for the tournament this weekend. He said unless something changes, you won't be seeing him play.
Well, I want something to change.
Well, Marcelo is nursing a knee injury. It's his good knee, though. So with no Alex Frazier and Marcelo in limited action, Dynasty's going to have to run with that skeleton crew, but they got a great lineup, so right now with a 1-point lead. Jumping back into the next point with Tampa Bay Damage is the ML Kings. Lose a body on the D side, 4 players alive for them, and also looks like Jacob coming off, so it's a 4-on-4.
Yeah, it's the first kill we've seen out of that Dorito 1 on the break, and then Jacob Edwards gets shot filling out to the Dorito 2. So even bodies across the board. You can see the ML Kings there on your screen. The Dorito corner, the far back outside bunker on that spectator side, then the tower, the tall bunker, shooting cross. We have a player over here in the can on the Snake side, and the Snake insert bunker. 4 players on your screen for ML Kings. And fan predictions had what, Damage 82%?
Yeah, big favorite.
So big favorites. Tie game here, tie bodies as ML Kings scrap out to the corner, and look at that, another kill by Keith Brown. He's been owning this tape side. That's 2 confirmed kills he's gotten from this corner.
Keith Brown.
1 at this point, but 2 so far this match.
Keith Brown's got a lot of skills in his toolkit, as he's a great gunfighter. He's got a wicked snapshot, blazing fast, and highly aggressive. And that's why you pay Keith Brown.
And he's already here wrapping essentially the 50 Snake, putting pressure on the Dorito side for the ML Kings. Definitely needs to get some support, though. I don't know who's behind him. They might be Jason. No. Smith. Ryan Smith.
Yeah, Smith's shooting the D side. And there goes a little tactical retreat here for the ML Kings to put some pressure on Keith Brown as they lose another body on the D side. So just 3 players left alive right now for the ML Kings.
2. They've lost 3 now. So
Dorito 1 and the Snake Corner are the only 2 remaining players. You can see Paya wrapping around the Dorito. That's what I like about Paya, man. He's always, that's the one thing that's, I think, made him stand above a lot of the rest of the guys. He knows his shots from just about every spot, and he always presses forward to try and get that advantage. And we've seen him over the years pull games out.
Paya Mars is
just
outstanding.
standing there, he stands above everybody else.
Just a couple feet above.
Just being himself.
Oh, Tim Montresor with a nice kill there. He's looking towards that D side and gets the shot on Paya as Paya pushed forward into the gun of Tim Montresor. Confirmed kill for Tim. So Keith Brown and Tim Montresor stepping up here for Tampa Bay Damage is going to take a slight 1-point lead score, now 2-1.
Yeah, good confirmed kill there for Tim. Good confirmed kill for Keith. And then a nice job off the break shooting. Got that first. That's one thing I'm taking note of. How many people get shot going to that Dorito 1? That's not an easy shot to shoot, whether you're from the back center or a couple dead zones. So you start seeing teams consistently shoot that player. It's time to look and see where those guys are standing so you can eliminate them when you have to play them later on in the tournament. Hey, Todd?
Absolutely. I already know where you're going, Nick. Archie told me everything. So
it's good to have good friends and teammates sell you out. All for a jersey.
I know what you're thinking. Don't try that.
Okay.
What's he thinking?
We've seen it. He's going to go there. He's going to stand there. I'm going to shoot him.
You're going to shoot him?
Yeah.
From sidelines?
Yep.
Oh,
well, no.
Bold move.
I paid Psalm to do it.
Okay, all right.
You know what? There's a good tree line around here. So point number 4, Aftermath and red on your left, on the red side of the field, Dynasty on the right. Baldwin getting shot out of the Snake Corner, so one body dropping, and this is the first we've seen the middle plate.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the very first time that we've seen any ground really taking it all off the break, and of course it's Alex Rodriguez. He's one of the, if not the premier center player in the league. Dynasty picking him back up. Used to play on Dynasty, went to Aftermath, and beginning of this year he came back to the squad. I talked to him about this center of the field, and he said, you know, a lot of people have been saying there's not much in the center. I'm going to be in different spots. I'm kind of all over the place, which he definitely has been. I mean, he's played 3 different positions in these 4 points. But he said that there's still some options that he thinks that people don't understand this center, and he thinks he has it dialed in. He wouldn't tell me exactly what he had dialed in, but he said that he would show me.
Secret. Yosh Rao getting a kill across the field from that Dorito corner.
Tyler. Tyler's on their side of the field.
Oh, there's Tyler.
Yeah, and here comes also with the 1-2 combo as Arturo Andrade trying to sneak some confirmed kills in here at the end.
He definitely did. He definitely did. So nice job by Tyler racking up a kill on Rob Velez. You know what, the one thing, Todd, that stood out to me there, and you said it, communication. I could hear Ryan Greenspan. I could hear all of Dynasty talking. I didn't hear a thing out of Aftermath. Now, you know, we are in a pretty isolated location here up well above the field looking down.
Noise-canceling headphones on.
Yes. So, not to say that Aftermath wasn't talking, but if I can hear, you can hear Ryan Greenspan, and he's essentially in the same distance away as.
Well, there's Velez having a very thorough discussion with his boys as they're now down by 2 here.
And you can see Tom Guest off on the left-hand side of your screen. He just left. Haven't seen him play a single point. Might have a bad breakout here for MO Kings as Greer was not tagged up, so he's going to be shot or eliminated, excuse me, on the break.
These are those mistakes you can't make. They're very close in this game. It's a 2-1 match. There's a lot of time left, so. But, yeah, not able to get to the box in time cost ML Kings a body, 4-on-5 to start this point.
Yeah, so then just to explain that to you guys, there's a 10-second countdown where there is a beep, and then the horn will go off. You must be touching the start station with your, essentially any part of your body before that horn goes off. If you are not there, you are not allowed to tag up. Now, if you are touching the box before the point starts, you can tag up, but you need to have already touched the box.
7 minutes and 46 seconds to go here in this close match. We're looking over the shoulders on the D side, on a D side cam. Tampa Bay Damage. Looks like Holiday, who's going to be, Joey Blute said he's going to be my Swiss Army knife, so you're going to see him all over the place out there. And Jason Edwards behind him, Tim Montresor in the center for Damage. Good communication from Damage right now. Holiday's talking it up.
Yeah, and someone sounds like they're having some gun trouble.
On ML Kings?
Yeah, you just hear a loud popping. And typically when you hear that, that means that the gun is firing air, but no paintballs are being fed from the loader into the breech and out the barrel at your opponent.
Well, it's that back center bunker there on your screen, and that gun down here on the Snake side allows Brian Smith to take some ground. He's now into Snake 2, the mini wall. And nobody out there with him, and he has Keith Brown, the monster gunfighter, behind him.
Yeah, ML Kings player in that mini wall on the Dorito side just took his gun apart. Now he's got it working. And Damage with 5 bodies alive right now in great positions. In a good spot to control this. Tim Montressa makes a great move up to the Dorito side brick, and it's going to play towards that Dorito side to try and slow any attack or movement from the ML Kings player that is over there in the mini wall and mirrored up with Holiday, I believe that is. Keith Brown.
Keith Brown once again calling his kill. Heads up on that snake side can.
And Keith Brown has been relatively flawless over here to start out this tournament, and that is why they picked Keith Brown up. Got Smith in front of him.
Yeah, and Keith is now in a prime location right there in that Aztec to cut down the whole side of the field. The back center player for ML Kings would have to really gunfight to get out wide. Looks like Pia Mars takes a bounce. Nope, he's going to get a penalty. First penalty of the day. Pia Mars gets shot in the back. Not sure who that was from, but that's going to draw a minor. Holiday runs through. Does he get a confirmed kill? He does. The ref calls the player out. So Holiday going to clock in, get himself at least one at the end there. And smartly, the ML Kings concede the point. Let's head down with Lauren Kelly to see what she's got for us.
Thanks. After that last point against Dynasty, Rob Velez admitted that no one on Aftermath knew what was going on the field. He said no one had eyes on the snake side. No communication was going on. So we'll see if they can tighten it up here to close out this point spread a little bit.
Rain starting to fall here.
What was that, Todd?
Are you stoked about the rain, Todd?
I love it. I love the rain. There's nothing better than playing paintball in the rain.
Starting this next point here, Dynasty up by 2 with 6:17 to go against Aftermath. And a clean break for both squads. It is a 5-on-5. Dynasty on the red side, Aftermath on the blue side. Aftermath taking a little bit more ground here on the D side of the field, but it does cost them a body as the ref is trying to pull out Eaton. And here comes Barga. He's going to try to fill that gap left by the death. 4-on-5 situation. Dynasty in the driver's seat, up by 2. Starting to rain a little bit harder now. And there's Barga on her D-side cam.
Ryan Greenspan tries to make a move into the snake, loses his footing a little bit, but gets in there and crawls all the way up to the very tip of the snake. He's going to try and wrap around. Frank Anthony, who went out to the Dorito corner, is going to come back to the inside and wear one in the goggles from Ryan Greenspan, who now crosses the 50. He's got Barga's hold back if he wants it. He's going to go heads up here.
Greenspan just gun dominant right-handed right now on the Snake Aztec, who is tucked in down low, but Barga is now going to have to figure out which way he wants to put his gun, and here comes Greenspan on the attack. He launches and gets kill number 2. Might have got the 3-pack here, and he does. Beautiful 3-pack here, and that is going to cause the concession to save the time here from San Diego Aftermath. So we're having we're watching some nice paintball from some of the guys on San Diego Dynasty in some of these points. Beautiful 3-pack from Greenspan. We saw the 2-pack run through from Alex Rodriguez. Dynasty looks finely honed and playing excellent so far. And now with a pretty decent lead here.
Yeah, and Barga did pick up Greenspan to get himself a confirmed kill. It's unfortunate because when Barga made the move into that mini wall on the Dorito side, he knew that Ryan was over here somewhere. And I think if he just would have started to flood paint into the bounce shots, that zone into those wedges, he could have got a kill on Ryan before he made that move. The thing that surprised me, though, and I don't know, Todd, if you saw this, but Baldwin got in that gunfight with Ryan and didn't say anything. Didn't seem like he said anything to Velez behind him.
No,
he just tucked down and just hey, Rob, if you wrap and help me, we might be able to kill this guy.
Yeah, a little too much tunnel vision out there. So jumping back into the Damage ML Kings match here. 5:42 to go and a 2-point lead for Tampa Bay Damage.
ML Kings getting shot, trying to fill out here to the snake too. Big bite by Tampa Bay Damage. Jacob Edwards takes the the wedge on the Dorito side off the break, but then gets shot. So 4-on-4 right now. And again, some gun trouble here for the ML Kings.
Yeah, that last point, ML Kings had 2 guys with broken guns in the middle of the game. Now here they are again, having another gun problem. Well, these are things that you cannot have in these pro matches.
Keith Brown has just been so gun dominant. Every time I look over and glance at what Keith Brown is doing, he's rolling his gun outside of his bunker.
Winning
gunfights. Keith Brown has been spectacular here so far for Damage in this first match.
And that's him right there on your screen in the corner, taking his swab and putting it into his barrel to clean out any moisture or paint that might have accumulated. He's got Brian Smith with him, and this is the thing that's nice about Damage is they've gotten to the spots, they're communicating really well, they're controlling the zones, they're even bodies, and being up by 2, now getting a shot on Greer trying to come underneath. They're really in control at this point. Big move though, ML Kings right now past the 50-yard line. Brian Smith and Keith Brown are playing heads up over here. Not sure if anyone on Damage has picked this up. Tim Montresor has repositioned himself to the inside tower to shoot that way, and Smith now into the Snake 3.
Yeah, they need to find this body here as ML Kings pass the 50-yard line onto the red side, and there's no guns on that position right now for Tampa Bay Damage. I think Montresor's trying to find him. Yeah, Tim knows exactly where he is, comes up and gets the shot in on his foot, and that's a beautiful move by Tim Montresor.
Yeah, smart play. And Tim gets himself another kill, heads up, and now the last body drops down the tape. Not sure if it's Keith, but I'm going to say it was Keith. So Keith getting himself at least one, and Tim Montresor with that good move up the middle of the field takes out the attacker for the ML Kings on his side and then gets that kill heads up on Paya Mars.
So good communication from Damage and just a really good job to get that thorn in their side off the field, Tim Montresor. And let's go down to Lauren Kelly.
30 seconds. Joey Blute was here on the sidelines watching that last point, and he said Damage is doing exactly what they need to right now. He said they have to take small bites in every single point, not try to make any big moves, because he believes the longer the point, the better chance they have to win against ML Kings, saying they just don't have what it takes to beat them during long, patient points.
Well, that is definitely the smart play. Grind that time down and preserve the 3-point spread that they currently have. That's definitely some smart paintball right there. Same situation for San Diego Dynasty with just about 5 minutes on the clock as Aftermath struggling now. And body coming off here on the Snake side. There goes another one, taking a walk. 3 bodies on the field. It's a 3-on-5. Great break for San Diego Dynasty.
Dynasty with the good move up the middle by Ryan Greenspan as a secondary. Arturo going to get shot, heads up by, looks like Rob Velez. Tom Jennings finally getting a spin. He's in the center tower. And someone for Aftermath, Frank, is in the Dorito wedge. And that's going to cause Ryan Greenspan now to switch from the Snake side and play that way. Yosh Rao going to fill out behind Greenspan.
And this is where we expected Frank to be to begin with. And here he is already getting 2 kills.
Yeah, nice job by Frank. And that's what they needed, is they dropped 2 bodies, and now Frank evening it up.
Did he not play there at practice?
Well, no,
He did.
He played all over, but they intentionally didn't want to just run Frank only on the D side, because that's what cost them at the last event. Everyone was able to know where he was going, so they just kept shooting him out off the break.
You going to post up Steph Curry too?
You don't think Frank can play the Snake side?
No.
But Frank comes around, and I think Ryan Greenspan completely misses him. As Frank is now on Dynasty side of the field, and they get another kill on A-Rod. Frank does come off, so it's a 2-on-2. Here comes a big move by Tom Guest. Trades out with Ryan Greenspan.
Tom Guest finally gets his spin after not making some practices. And
Rob Velez and Tyler Harmon one-on-one.
One-on-one. I saw a lot of one-on-ones yesterday in the practice sessions.
And Rob knows exactly where Tyler is, and I'm not sure Tyler knows the count.
Yeah, so that's why you play Tom Guest, right?
100%, 100%.
And that's why you put Frank Antetomaso on the Dorito side. I'm not saying he can't play the Snake, but if Steph Curry is on your team, you put him on the 3-point line, let him whop tray bombs. You know what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying, but I don't mind
Get
having
buckets.
Frank come over here on the Snake side for at least a point, so that every single time you play Aftermath, you're like, well, Frank's going to go to the D side, so let's just shoot him out. Because that's what happened at Vegas. I'm sorry, at Texas.
I mean, here's the one read you have to take away from it. If you go back, and whoever's playing Aftermath tomorrow, I'm sure will do the same thing. Is this one-on-one breaks down. Rob Les coming all the way back across down to the back center to play Tyler Harmon heads up. Frank shot from the back center, 2 3-points in a row, and then secondary to double up the can. His first point he plays on the D side, he goes essentially to that wedge on the break.
Yeah, I don't like what Rob Velez just did over here. Tyler has lost him right now, but Tyler's going to find him.
And now that ref is going to...
Well, the ref's following Velez in.
Yeah.
And
Tyler called his kill when Rob made the move, so it looks like he just clipped Rob in the pack.
There's a lot of things. I mean, call me crazy here, but I feel like we watch a lot of paintball.
Did you see Tyler walk up to Rob? Yeah, sorry, Tyler.
We watch a lot of paintball. You know, there's consistency to a lot of the things that we see out here. And one of them is you don't go get into a heads-up gunfight with Tyler Harmon. That's one of the things that just happened here. He was over here in the Snake 50, had Tyler Harmon in a wedge,
the worst,
hiding behind about a 1.5-foot little piece of air ups bunker to hide behind at that angle. And he went all the way back around and gave Tyler the entire Dorito side and the wedges to play behind. You just don't do that. Bury him in that wedge, Rob. You know, you're sitting over here at the 50. He's stuck in that little spot. You can use this whole giant 50 wedge over here to your advantage to go back and forth and not let him out of there. And you went back and went and tried to play Tyler Harmon heads up.
And we'll talk about Tyler Harmon, one of the best one-on-one players, I think, in the league.
Snap shooters in the league.
Absolutely.
What are you doing? Tyler jumped over the top of that bunker and shot him with one ball. Like, what are you doing? Also, if you got Frank Antonomaso on your team, you run him down the Dorito side. That's how it goes. Okay, he had one bad event in Dallas, ran into a lot of bounce shots. Okay, but they also took third place with him playing the Dorito side. Okay, you don't just send him over.
Hold on. No, I know, but I'm with you on that. But my point to Aftermath is spin him on the Snake side for a point, or have him have different routes going to that side. Yes, don't take your all-star shortstop and have him play third base constantly. But however,
unless Manny Machado,
unless Manny Machado, because he can do both. But having some variance is going to help out a team like Aftermath.
100%. I get it, but I don't think Aftermath is deep enough to do that right now. You know, I really don't. Like Eaton ain't eating starving right now. You know what I mean? You got to put Frank Antonomaso over there and let him spin. But you know who kills people? Tom Guest.
No, that's true. But you also need to get some depth to your roster. And you just said that earlier with Matty Kling. You got to get guys spins, right?
Right.
And Eaton, also, if guys are having good practices, you want to have them play a little bit at the tournament if they step up in practice, because that breeds the mentality that you want to have guys feasting and try to earn that starting spot. Yeah. So that's what happened over there with Eaton.
Yeah, I remember driving to practice up at SC Village, and Oliver wasn't there. We practiced, and Oliver was off in Europe doing whatever he wanted to do. You know, but guess who still played at the tournament? Oliver. You know why? Because he was the best guy on the team, arguably. You know what I mean? They had a lot of good guys. But Oliver was okay, right?
Yeah.
He showed up and he killed people, right? You put guys in those spots where give your team the best opportunity they can to win points. You're down points now, right?
Definitely down
Did you
points.
just give up those points?
No.
Can you afford to give up points to San Diego Dynasty?
No, of course not. But also, when they're running that reckless edge right now, down a bunch of points, send the cannonball down the D side of the field and see if he can make it, which he did, feasted a little bit. We'll see if they can keep doing it.
Yeah, and now let's get some consistency from Frank Antonomaso on that Dorito side for Aftermath and see if he can go out there and win some more points.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
you basically just spotted Dynasty 2 or 3.
I love me some Tom Martinez in the morning.
I just got my
He just
coffee
got his
now.
coffee, too. He wasn't even caffeinated.
I wouldn't even hear you. I'm here now.
Hey,
Thanks, Fran.
You know what? I think if there's – for all you guys listening right now, if you could go back and rewatch that, and this is something that I'm going to see if we can do, make a highlight from that. Everything that Todd just explained in that one-on-one is 100% correct. And it's unfortunately for Rob, he made a very poor choice. Combat paintball tactics failed. He had Tyler in one of the worst positions he could have been in on the field, with the field flipped and then being cross field from each other, and he gave it back. He completely gave it away. And he had Rob is known for shooting paint. He had a full pack and barely shot any paint at Tyler.
You know where the buzzer is, too? That way.
That way. Yeah, he went all
that
around.
way. He was closer to the buzzer than Tyler was.
Yeah.
He could have forced
he was
Tyler.
on Tyler's side of the field.
Yeah. I mean, he would have came over here into no man's land into the snake, and that wouldn't have been good.
Well,
but he had Tyler straight across the field.
And that's the thing with the one-on-ones. Not all these bunkers are the same. So when you have your opponent in a tactical disadvantage, you kind of want to keep them in that situation.
And Tyler didn't know the count.
Yeah.
Tyler, he didn't know that there was nobody over there until Rob went that way.
Yeah.
Tyler was still looking over towards the Dorito side, trying to figure out if there was another body in front of him.
Yeah. And it looks like we're on a little bit of a technical timeout. That's why we're having some time to yell at each other. But, yeah, no, it's I definitely agree. Yeah, obviously, Rob made a mistake. It's just not really going their way right now, again. And Dynasty's starting to run the score.
Dynasty did the same thing, though, right? Like I was saying earlier, they put Tyler over here so they could play Blake and Tyler at the same time. Well, Blake has struggled already a little bit over there, you know, so they put Tyler back over there again. And what does Tyler do down the Dorito side? Wins him a big point, you know?
Maybe the point.
Right?
With
the point
time
before
and
that,
the point differential.
You know, Tyler's your number one Dorito guy. I've seen Blake Yarber play the snake. If Arturo and Matty Kling aren't getting it done on the snake side, send Blake over here. But You don't take Tyler off the Dorito side. I mean, do whatever you want. Be my guest. You know, I don't care. It's not my team, right? But Tyler Harmon, to me, has been one of the most dominant Dorito players in the league for some time now. I don't want to pull him off for the sake of getting another guy in there. Yeah, Blake, great. I seen Blake play the snake. Blake can play the snake. Marcelo's not here, right?
Of course, Marcelo's here, but nursing a knee
yeah,
injury.
Marcelo's not playing.
No Alex Frazier.
Right? You still got 5 really good guys. And the way that they're playing the snake, you tell me Blake Yarber can't run to this snake corner over here, stay alive, shoot guys like Keith Brown?
Ryan Greenspan's also looking pretty good here on the snake side.
Yeah, Ryan Greenspan's had to fill out over here on the snake side. He's come up from the inside, gotten down the snake, bullied his way down the snake over here, got himself a 3-pack. Like,
that's the nicest move we've seen so far.
I was just saying this morning, Tyler Harmon going down that Dorito side could be the kill count leader at the event.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Top
very
5.
well could be.
So I don't think he's going to be the kill count leader at the event playing the snake corner.
So it looks like we're jumping back into this next point here with Damage with a 3-point lead. 3:48 to go. And ML King's going to be dropping a body off the break. 4 players left alive for them. A good break for Tampa Bay Damage. They get the kill, they keep all their bodies alive, and now starting to make some secondary moves. Onto the D side, getting into the mini wall as another body is coming off here for the ML Kings. So just 3 players left alive for them, and tucked into the pocket, farthest player out is the tower on the D side, and the can on the snake side. That's not very far. See if Damage can make the most of this 5-on-3 situation and seal this game up.
Yeah, you see Holiday on your screen right there for Damage, playing over the top of the mini wall on the Dorito side. And essentially just trapping the player in the tower, not going to allow him to even breathe on the edge, and that's going to allow Tim to have some creativity out of that brick.
I'm going to say this again. The same exact thing that I just said about Tyler Harmon. This is the first time I feel like we've seen Dan Holiday on the Dorito side. Where did Dan Holiday make his money? On the Dorito side, running and shooting. Getting that Dorito side. This is a perfectly tailor-made Dorito side for OG Dan Holiday to get out there.
Well, the way that that Joey broke it down to me, he said that if basically whoever's not getting it done front player-wise, that's where he's going to put Dan Holiday. Dan Holiday is his jack of all trades right now.
I feel that. And Joey was around when Dan Holiday was their #1 Dorito guy, but I mean, obviously Jacob is amazing.
Jacob's elite too when he's really good. So you could make the same argument about a Jacob Edwards. Look, if Jacob, how did he get paintball famous? Smashing people on the D side of the
100%. But I mean, it doesn't look like Chad Bougere is here.
He's not. He's getting married in Poland.
Right. So, I mean, I love the move of Dan Holiday going to the Dorito side. I think you can still play Jacob Edwards over there because Jacob Edwards is a good closer. But Dan Holiday, he is deceptively fast. And he's really good at running and shooting. And he knows how to play that Dorito side. But I feel like we've just been seeing him on the snake side for event after event after event.
Well, because, again, they didn't really have that coaching help and support that now they have with Joey, who's able to analyze and criticize. And, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Head on over to GoSports.com to watch the rest of the prelim action. Got some big games coming up as Impact's going to be playing Aftermath at probably about 10:30. We'll see. We had a little bit of a delay this morning starting with the scoreboard issue, but Revo and Infamous coming up next, New York Extreme, and boom. Should be an entertaining tournament with this fast field.
Aftermath finally back to their starting 5. And they lose 1 on the break.
And look who takes the snake 1 on the break for Dynasty.
They may lose 2 on the break.
Yeah, Tyler Harmon now into snake 1 here for San Diego Dynasty. Only 2:17 to go in a 4-point spread. I mean, we've seen some fast points this year, but it's going to be a tall order here for Aftermath to stay in this match. They're trying to make something happen, though, as they get Baldwin here to the 40-yard line in the snake. Tyler Harmon also makes a move forward to the mini wall, and he's going to gun up and get the drop in on Baldwin. What a beautiful snapshot. You just talked about the moneymaker snapshot of Tyler Harmon, and there it was.
Yep, snippy snap. There goes Blake Yarber running down, bunkering out Frank Antonomaso with nobody behind him to protect him.
Yeah, Barga
just
picks
Barga
him up.
over here, and Barga's about to wear it from Tyler Harmon.
Another kill for Tyler.
Sure is.
It's unfortunate, too, because Barga's been good for at least 1 kill each point. Unfortunately, it's the guy running down his teammates that he's getting a kill on.
Barga's been staying alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been getting those kills, but again, he shot Ryan running down his teammate. He shot Blake running down his teammate. And Tyler did take that snake 1 on the break and got himself a confirmed 2-pack there.
So Dynasty looked so good in the first 3 games. Well, they looked great at the tournament period. I mean, they only lost in the quarterfinals by 1 to AC Dallas. And you can see it is crickets right in the pits here for Aftermath, except for Frank. So that is a look at the feet right there. And then frustration here for San Diego Aftermath. And this is probably going to be 5 losses in a row for them, as they did not win a game after taking 3rd place at the first event.
Yeah. And that does a lot for your confidence right there in the wrong direction for a team like Aftermath, who started off so hot, to lose 5 games in a row now.
ML Kings losing their Dorito runner. Trying to take a huge bite over there. And here's the thing, too. You want to talk about positions of players. Damage, I think, has got probably some of the greatest depth out of any team on the Snake side. You've got Elias now getting some spins. Brian Smith, Tim Montrester's floated over here. You can throw Keith Brown at any point you want. So if you want to look at the depth and the players that can play all across the field, for Damage, it's huge. Another minor penalty going to come, and that's the second one of the day, and it's going to be on the same player, Paya Mars, getting another minor penalty for a pack hit.
Yeah, and the only 2 penalties we've seen so far today, period, in this first set. Not a penalty-ridden tournament so far, and here comes Keith Brown. Just going to glide right in the big move up the center. Jacob Edwards, he's hunting for some kills. He's going to get that last one. And I think stay alive, and he's going to wave off the rest of his boys here to put their 6th point on the board. So, or are they just going to let the time expire? Not enough time, obviously, for the ML Kings to come back and fight to stay in this match. So see if the ML Kings, to keep the point spread close, is just going to let the time expire.
Yeah, both of these matches looked like they had some potential to be exciting early.
They did. The first couple
taken
points.
over. Yeah, quickly taken over here by Dynasty and Damage.
Which is a good look for both of those squads. That was the question with Damage. Coming in here, playing against the ML Kings, who haven't had the best performances in the first 2 events.
Hey, Maddie,
so Damage needed to come out, and needed to look good and try to win, and win big, to put up that big point spread, and that's exactly what just happened.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to say? We talked about a lot of guys on Dynasty looking good, but you know who's definitely stood out to me is Yosh.
Yeah, Yoshi's timing's
He's
great.
been getting out to that Dorito side and attacking. Got a run through, got a confirmed kill there, but just been really consistent on that side. And you know, typically we see Yosh as that back guy, or I would have expected him to play more in that tower, but he's been the #1 guy on the Dorito side, back following up Tyler and following up Blake.
Well, you know, Yosh came up, when I played on the Ironman with Yosh when he was a rookie, he was the front player. And so those are there, but he's always been Mr. Consistent for them. So Dynasty trying to seal up this victory here, big 5-point lead with just 1:33 to go. And the early deaths are continuing to plague Aftermath as they lose the body over here on the Snake side. So just 4 players alive for them, and here comes the push up the center, as Barga is going to run up into the red brick.
Yeah, right through Tyler Harmon's gun. Straight through that lane. He's going to try and wrap inside and get a shot. Kind of wilding out in there.
Dynasty just rolling the guns, not risking anything. Giant lead, barely any time left as we're under a minute.
Yep, 6-1, 50 seconds on the clock. Here comes Yosh Rao. He's going to get a bucket as he goes and takes out Barga. The free run up the middle.
Yeah, that'll
Baldwin able to sneak out here to the outside on the Snake, trying to get a kill across the field.
A little forward progression for Dynasty as Arturo moves up in the Snake. Tyler Harmon. Oh, is Matty Kling? Oh, yeah, Matty Kling gets a kill, gets a spin.
Gets 2 kills. Trades out. So Matty Kling taking out Baldwin and Tom Guest. Tom Guest trading out with Kling, so that's just a 3-on-1 right now. Eaton, maybe? Oh, is that Rob Velez?
So closing seconds of this game. Tyler Harmon
There's
just traded out.
So Rob Velez and Tyler Harmon get a shot, and that's going to leave Greenspan and Alex. Now, let's see if they can run in there and get this point. Alex has got to go. Not sure if he's going to get it. He doesn't.
I don't think he was able to get the mercy rule point. Yeah, the ref gives him the no point signal. He was signal. Looked like he was about maybe a half a step away from putting that 7th point up.
What's the no point signal?
I don't know. The
safe
signal.
Safe
yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, that's what it is here.
I thought it was the Dikembe Mutombo finger wave.
I like that. So victory in this first set of the day going to go to Dynasty. We do have 1 more point.
And again, want to take advantage of the sales going on this weekend, as Virtue's been doing all year some crazy sales. They have had the first 100 customers get 30% off. Use virtuepb.com. So get built to win. Virtue's huge 30% off sale at all virtuepb.com and participating Virtue dealers. And use the code Virtue NXL 30, limited again to 100 customers. Hurry up, place your order now. 30% off. Right now, 45 seconds to go, and a giant lead for Damage. Damage, if you're just joining us, has looked very good in this game.
Not that play right there as Charlie Givens tries to make his way into the Dorito, or excuse me, the mini wall on the snake side, and just gets torched cross field by Jason Edwards. So one body advantage, two body advantage right now as ML Kings lose another body on the Dorito side. Greg Montevello trying to get himself into a gunfight here with Jacob Edwards out of that Dorito 2. Under 15 seconds now, Damage getting another elimination, two bodies left alive for the ML Kings. One body left alive as Greg gets shot. So just a corner player over here. And time will expire. So, as Todd, as you said, the beginnings of these games were back and forth.
All right, so that is the conclusion of this match. Congratulations as Damage takes the victory over the ML Kings and Dynasty over Aftermath. And let's check in with Lauren.
Thanks. I'm here with Tyler Harmon. Congratulations on winning your first match here on Friday. Now, we are used to seeing you on the Dorito side. You came up in the ranks being a dominant Dorito side player. Now we're seeing you dig into the snake, which usually is in a side that's reserved for giants, such as you. Do you have a side that you prefer to play on?
I just love paintball. Don't forget, when I was 14 years old, I started in the snake. Don't forget that. So I've had to like metamorphosize through the years. Now I'm a giant playing the Doritos, but I can play anywhere. I love paintball, so just put me anywhere on the field. We're going to do all right.
Now I'm going to ask you maybe a question you don't want to answer, but I'm going to throw you in the hot spot real quick. I think a lot of people are wondering where Alex Frazier is this weekend. It seems to be the mystery.
Yeah, my man's, hey, Alex, love you, dude. He's taking care of his dad. Such a good man. Greatest guy on the planet. Shout out to Eggies. Shout out to Max and Theo and my baby. I love you guys.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned, guys. More coming up after the break.